This is the biggest power unit revolution Formula One has seen since the hybrid era began in 2014, and Ferrari just bet their entire 2025 season on getting it right. On January 23, 2026, Ferrari will unveil a car powered by an engine that splits power 50-50 between electric and combustion for the first time in F1 history. The problem is that two of their key engineers just defected to Audi. The paddock keeps whispering that Mercedes already has a secret advantage, and a brewing controversy over compression ratios could reshape the entire competitive order before a single race is run. Ferrari might have sacrificed a championship year for nothing, or they could be about to pull off the greatest reset in modern F1. Stick around, because what happens next might surprise you. The catch is that Ferrari lost two critical engineers to Audi just months before launch. A legal battle over compression ratios is brewing, and some insiders claim Mercedes is already ahead. This one's going to get interesting. Let's start with what's actually happening in 2026, because this isn't just a rule tweak. What we're looking at is a fundamental reimagining of what an F1 power unit should be. August 16, 2022 marked the day the FIA World Motorsport Council approved these regulations. And when you look at the numbers, you understand why teams have been preparing for years. The MGU-K, the electric motor connected to the rear axle, jumps from 120 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts. In more familiar terms, that's an increase from 160 brake horsepower to 470 brake horsepower, which works out to a 192% increase in electric power. The internal combustion engine actually drops in output during the same period. Roughly 740 brake horsepower falls to around 540, representing a 27% reduction in combustion power alone. Here's where it gets fascinating though. When you add these together, total system output comes in higher than before at around 1,000 horsepower compared to roughly 900 today. The source of that power has completely flipped in the process. Current F1 cars run on about an 80-20 split, favouring the combustion engine. 2026 brings a 50-50 arrangement, half electric and half combustion. That's never happened before in Formula One history. The most meaningful change isn't about adding power though. Removing complexity is what matters here. The MGU-H is gone, eliminated entirely from the regulations. For those who might not follow every technical detail, the MGU-H was the motor generator unit connected to the turbocharger, and it harvested energy from exhaust gases. Developing it proved notoriously difficult, which was one of the main reasons Honda struggled so badly when they returned to F1 in 2015. That component was just that complicated. Two things happen with its removal. The barrier for new manufacturers entering the sport drops considerably, and energy recovery changes in a fundamental way. Without the MGU-H continuously harvesting energy from the exhaust, the batteries can't sustain full electric deployment over entire laps on many circuits. Ferrari's power unit technical director, Enrico Gualtieri, put it well in his December 2025 interview. The management systems governing energy deployment and recovery will sit at the heart of performance, he explained, and could become a competitive differentiator between teams. Raw engine power isn't the whole story anymore. Being the smartest with how you use the power you have matters just as much now. Another first arrives for 2026 in the form of 100% sustainable fuel. Carbon sources must come from non-food biomass, municipal waste, or atmospheric carbon capture, which means no new fossil carbon gets burned in a Formula One car. Teams are reporting reliability challenges during dyno testing as they try to optimize combustion with these new fuels while simultaneously reducing weight. And that weight problem is massive. Minimum car weight drops from 800 kilograms to 768 kilograms under the new rules. Lighter cars should be faster, which sounds good on paper. Power unit minimum weight tells a different story though. That number actually increases from roughly 145 kilograms to 185 kilograms, adding 30 to 40 extra kilograms from the engine department alone. The math gets ugly fast. Teams need to shed approximately 60 kilograms from everywhere else on the chassis just to meet the new minimum weight while carrying a heavier power unit. Christian Horner called it an enormous challenge for every team, pointing out that a number was plucked out of the air for car weight. Engines that are noticeably heavier combined with a car weight that has become lower, means that saving weight costs a colossal amount of money. Ferrari's preparation for this new era included a decision in late April 2025 that sent shockwaves through the paddock. Aerodynamic development on their 2025 car stopped entirely, and everything pivoted to 2026. Fred Vasseur explained the reasoning behind the choice. McLaren was so dominant in the first 4 or 5 events that Ferrari realized competing for the 2025 championship would be very difficult. The decision came very early, around the end of April, to switch everything to 2026. Brutal consequences followed that choice. 4th place in the 2025 Constructors' Championship. 18 races without a single victory. Vasseur later admitted he underestimated the psychological side of it, asking your team to show up race after race, knowing they have no new parts coming and no chance of winning, just waiting for next year. A flip side to this strategy exists, though. While other teams were still developing their 2025 cars, Ferrari was pouring resources into the future. Just before Christmas 2023, Ferrari's first 2026 power unit completed a test bench run. Italian media described that moment as the end of the pure experimentation phase. The engine running on the dyno today is the race specification unit, not a prototype. One detail might matter come March. Ferrari plans to run their race-ready final power unit from Barcelona testing in late January. Some rivals are reportedly planning to introduce updated engine specifications later. Ferrari wants their finished product ready from day one. Ferrari's 2026 program hasn't been smooth though, far from it. September 2025 brought 2 critical departures to Audi. Wolf Zimmermann left first, the head of Ferrari's 2026 power unit project, and the man Italian media called the father of Ferrari engines. He designed their acclaimed superfast engine and had been with Ferrari since 2014 when Mercedes let him go. Lars Schmidt followed him out the door, taking his role as chief engineer for internal combustion engine performance development straight to Audi's facility in Newburgh. Both men reunited there with former Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto. Earlier still, in July 2024, chassis technical director Enrico Cardilli had departed for Aston Martin after nearly 20 years at Ferrari. These aren't minor losses, these are foundational people walking away. More than 300 engineers in Maranello now report to Enrico Gualtieri, who leads the power unit department. When asked about the departure's impact on the 2026 program, Gualtieri notably did not confirm rumors of development delays. Sources suggest both Zimmermann and Schmidt completed their contribution to Ferrari's 2026 project before leaving, but whether that's the full story remains unclear. Reinforcement efforts followed the departures. Engineers arrived from Alpine's shuttered Viry-Châtillon facility after the September 2024 announcement. Specialists from Mercedes joined as well. Vasseur confirmed that Renault's decision to exit F1 engine manufacturing meant engineers were already approaching Ferrari, with no gardening leave restrictions slowing things down. Here's where things get really interesting and potentially explosive. December 2024 brought a joint letter to the FIA from Ferrari, Audi, and Honda. The allegation was that Mercedes and possibly Red Bull powertrains found a way to circumvent the new 16:1 compression ratio limit. Understanding what this means requires some background. The compression ratio dropped from 18:1 down to 16:1 specifically to lower the barrier for new manufacturers. Higher compression generally means more power, so limiting it was supposed to level the playing field. The alleged loophole exploits thermal expansion. Regulations specify measurement at ambient temperature under static conditions, but engine components expand when hot. An engine might measure 16:1 when cold, and that same engine could effectively run at a higher ratio during actual operation when everything heats up. The performance impact matters here. Simulations suggest the difference between 16:1 and 18:1. Compression could yield approximately 10 kilowatts or 13 horsepower, and 3 to 4 tenths of a second per lap. In F1 terms, that's enormous. The FIA responded by stating that the regulations clearly define the maximum compression ratio and the method for measuring it, which is based on static conditions at ambient temperature. That procedure has remained unchanged according to their statement. Vasseur offered a warning in response. Teams have grown up massively over the last year, he explained, meaning more and more people are trying to find loopholes. Imagine having a brilliant idea and building your entire car around it. Then, in December, FIA officials arrive and say it's forbidden. Your car is ruined. All 5 2026 power unit manufacturers are scheduled to meet with the FIA in an extraordinary technical session. Protests at the Australian Grand Prix remain possible if this isn't resolved before Melbourne. Zooming out reveals the competitive landscape Ferrari is entering, and 6 power unit manufacturers makes 2026 the most crowded grid in the entire hybrid era. Ferrari supplies themselves, Haas and the new Cadillac team. Mercedes powers themselves, McLaren, Williams and Alpine. Honda returns in a full works partnership with Aston Martin. Red Bull Powertrains, partnered with Ford since February 2023, supplies Red Bull Racing and the Racing Bulls. Audi powers their own team, formerly known as Sauber. Here's what the paddock is saying about each manufacturer. Mercedes is widely perceived as the 2026 frontrunner. Technical director James Allison told Sky Sports that the feeling inside the team is pretty similar to 2014. And that year, Mercedes dominated the first hybrid season completely. Toto Wolff cautioned that he's a notorious pessimist, and the name of the game is going to be constant development throughout the season. Red Bull Powertrains represents F1's first chassis manufacturer to develop their own power unit in the modern era. 600 personnel now work there, many recruited from Mercedes high-performance powertrains. Laurent Mekies acknowledged they know they're going to have a few very, very tough months, many sleepless nights, and a few headaches. Honda returns after withdrawing in 2021. CEO Toshihiro Mibe identified their key challenge as building a compact, lightweight and high-power electric motor with a high-performance battery capable of handling high and swift power output. Audi completed their takeover of Sauber for approximately €600 million in January 2025 and expanded personnel from 300 to nearly 700. CEO Gernot Döllner outlined a 3-phase model where they start as challengers, then become competitors, with victories targeted from 2030. Ferrari's position on all of this has been characteristically measured but confident. 2026 will be exciting, Vasseur said, unless someone is dominant and it's not us. An interesting observation came on the technical side about what will actually matter. Power counts right now under current regulations, Vasseur explained, but next year it will be drivability. That statement carries weight when you think it through. Energy management becomes critical, with batteries that can't sustain full deployment, and 50% of power coming from electric motors that need careful handling. The raw horsepower number might matter less than how smoothly and predictably that power arrives. Gualtieri expanded on this idea. Drivers will play a more significant role than ever in managing power unit energy, he noted. The management systems governing energy deployment and recovery will sit at the heart of performance. Money deserves attention here because these regulations carry heavy financial implications. The power unit cost cap rises from $95 million, which covered 2022 through 2025, up to $130 million from 2026 onward. The team budget cap increases to $215 million to accommodate development costs and inflation. Something new should help prevent a repeat of 2014, though, when Mercedes dominated and others couldn't catch up. Starting in 2026, the FIA will implement a performance convergence system. Every 5 to 6 races, they'll measure average manufacturer performance. Underperforming manufacturers can receive additional funding, extra dyno time, or opportunities for new engine homologation. The goal is clear. If someone gets a massive early advantage, the regulations have built-in mechanisms to help others catch up faster than was possible in previous eras. Honesty requires acknowledging what we don't know. Reports circulating in Italian media suggest that newly recruited engineers at Ferrari were not impressed by the team's 2026 progress when they arrived. Rumours about specific power deficits to Mercedes keep surfacing. Claims about technical approaches that were abandoned continue to spread. I'm not going to repeat those as facts because they haven't been verified. What we do know is that Ferrari has committed enormous resources to this project. They've sacrificed a season. They've weathered personnel losses at senior levels. They're confident enough to run their final specification power unit from the first test. Whether that confidence is justified won't be known until Barcelona in late January, or more accurately, until Melbourne on March 8th, when the racing actually begins. Context helps here, and Vasseur himself drew an important parallel. 2009 saw Brawn GP come out of nowhere with their double diffuser and 4/10 of an advantage over everyone else. Nobody predicted it. A team that had nearly collapsed dominated the opening races of that season. This time, Vassar pointed out, the rule change is even bigger. Everything is changing at once. Chassis, drive, fuel, tyres, sporting regulations. You can make a difference in each of these areas. That assessment holds up when you examine it closely. 2026 isn't just an engine change. It's not just new aero rules. The cars will look different, drive different, sound different, and be powered differently than anything we've seen before. Opportunity and risk exist in equal measure here. Ferrari has placed their bet by abandoning 2025 to chase 2026. They've kept faith in their power unit department despite losing key personnel. They're entering a season where 6 manufacturers will compete, where Mercedes is favoured by many, where Red Bull is a complete unknown, and where a legal controversy could still reshape the regulations before a wheel turns in anger. Ferrari reveals their 2026 car on January 23rd. Private testing begins January 26th at Barcelona. Melbourne hosts the season opener on March 8th. Between now and then, the compression ratio controversy needs resolution. The true competitive order needs to emerge. And we'll finally learn whether Ferrari's sacrifice was genius or folly. One thought keeps coming back to me here. Ferrari chose pain in 2025. They chose 4th place. They chose 18 races without a victory. They chose to watch their drivers compete with outdated equipment while their rivals fought for championships. They did this because they believed 2026 offered something more valuable, a genuine reset and a chance to establish themselves at the front of a completely new era. Equal power from electric and combustion sources defines these new regulations. The complex MGUH is gone. Sustainable fuel is mandatory. Weight targets seem almost contradictory at first glance. The door is open for Ferrari to either vindicate their strategy or become a cautionary tale about gambling on the future. I know which outcome Maranello is betting on. In a few months, we'll all know if they were right.